What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today what we got here is the MJX B2SE. Now, I have already done a long distance test on this quadcopter, and I took it in the same spot over here all the way to the inside of that valley, and I think it went beyond the inside of the valley, and it went right around 3 kilometers. Now, that is an amazing distance for this quadcopter, and I think I have to attribute that distance to this location. Now, you might have different range if you are flying this thing in a different environment, like with trees or buildings or what have you not. So the location really matters on how far you can take these quadcopters. Now, I also did a long distance test on its counterpart, or its clone rather, the rebranded version of this quadcopter, the JJRC X8 Cetus, and that one went 2,400 meters or 2.4 kilometers. So that one went less of a distance than this one, and it is identically the same. Now, the only thing that is different with that one and this one is that in the product page, this one is set to have 1806 1800 kV motors, whereas the X8 Cetus is set to have 1806 1500 kV motors, and I think that is why that one went less of a distance than this one. So this one has higher kV motors. Even though the motors look identically the same, this one booked it to that distance faster than the X8 Cetus, because I was using the same exact batteries to test both of the quadcopters. So if you want to get the 1806 1800 kV motors, get this version, and if you want to get the 1806 1500 kV version of the same exact quadcopter, get the X8 Cetus. Now, today what we are going to do is we're going to check out the return to home functions of this quadcopter. So I'm going to test out the smart return to home, the failsafe return to home, and the 2 phases of the low voltage return to home on this B2SE. All right, so let's go ahead and power this up. All right, so powering up the quadcopter, locking the battery into place. Let the ESC sing their song, turn on the transmitter, and wait for the double beeps. Okay, that will indicate it is ready to do the compass calibration. So you want to rotate it horizontally, and at which time the blinking lights will turn dark green. Right now it is light green, and looks like it just turned dark green. So now you're going to face it nose down, or either face it nose up and rotate it again, doesn't matter which direction, and the front lights will turn solid red, and at which time you are done calibration. And the rear lights at this time is solid green but dark green. That means that it has acquired all of the necessary GPS for GPS functions to work. And if it was light green, what you will need to do is wait until it turns dark green. So we can see that it has 16 GPS satellites locked in, so we are good to go. So both sticks to the bottom and to the left will calibrate the gyros, and the lights are blinking furiously, and they have turned solid. So we are all good to go with compass calibration as well as gyro calibration. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my phone here and go into the settings. Go into the Wi-Fi section of your settings, and I'm going to connect to the Bugs Wi-Fi network. Unsecured network, it says. And we are connected. So let's go on over to the Bugs Go app and hit that. Just hit go and hit the green arrow, and hit the green arrow one more time. And we should have Wi-Fi FPV, and yes, we do. So let's check it out. Oh yeah, very nice. I have a micro SD card installed in the micro SD card slot, so we are going to take some photos and videos up in the air. So let's go and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and change the format to video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some screen recording. Okay, there you go, screen is recording, and I'm going to hit the record button as well, and it is recording too, and it should be recording directly into the micro SD card. You can either hit this button, or you can hit this button over here. Long press the photo button to take videos, short press it to take photos. All right, so let's go and check it out. Both sticks to the bottom and in will arm the motors, and both sticks to the bottom and out will disarm the motors, as well as throttling all the way down will disarm the motors. Or if you want, you can go ahead and unlock the motors by hitting this, or arm the motors, and long pressing of this lock button will disarm the motors. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the unlock button or arm the motors, and I'm going to hit the 1 key to take off. There you go, automatic takeoff, and check that out. And I have GPS turned on, and I have the headless mode turned off. So there you go, GPS lock position. Just an awesome quadcopter, guys. So one of the best ones for the money that you can buy, I think. So check it out. I'm going to go ahead and pull it, get it angry, let go, and look at that, bounces back so quickly back to its GPS locked position. That is just awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and take it out, and it flies so smooth even though you have GPS turned on, and it'll fly even smoother with the GPS turned off. Now, even though you turn off the GPS, all of the return to home functions will still work, like your smart return to home, fail-safe return to home, and low voltage return to home. So turning on the GPS just means that you will have GPS lock. So like when I let go of the sticks, it will come to a hover and it will hold its position right there. And even though there is a breeze or a wind, it will fight that wind to stay in that locked position. So if you were to turn off the GPS, it'll just drift with the wind or the breeze, and that is the drift right now, and a very light amount of wind that we are having. So there's no speed control button, so we are stuck with just one speed. So let me go ahead and just do a little circuit right here, back and forth. And we got altitude hold, so just awesome. You know, I've never actually tested out the headless mode on these things, I don't think. So let me go ahead and turn the headless mode on, and look at that, going forward, coming back. Now I think the headless mode is not very widely used. I don't know why you would use a headless mode on a GPS quadcopter. Now I can understand using the headless mode on a regular non-GPS quad to bring it home, no matter which way the quadcopter is facing. But on a GPS quadcopter, all you got to do is hit that button or wait until the battery runs dry. So I'm going to turn off the headless mode and just fly it about. Just an awesome quadcopter to fly around, guys. And if you put an all-in-one VTX, you are able to go the distance as well. So let me check out the Wi-Fi FPV capabilities, and look at that, it is awesome. There I am, coming towards me. Seems like they improved the Wi-Fi FPV from the previous versions. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's a little breakup, and I don't know where I am. So I'm just going to let it go and see if it regains video. And there you go. I kind of regained video, and there I am. So I'm going to come towards me. So I am somewhere over there. Look at that. I was way over there. All right. So let's go ahead and bring it down. Right around here should be fine. So you are able to do some Wi-Fi FPV with this thing, but it's basically to take some photos and videos. Let me turn my GPS on so I have GPS lock, and let me go right above my landing pad here and hit the 1 key to land. So, and I am able to redirect its path still with the pitch and the roll to where I want it to land. And look at that, it comes to a little hover for a little while right at that altitude, and it starts to make its way down, and I'll get it right on the landing pad. A few hops and a bounce, and the motors shut off. All right, so now we are going to take off from the landing pad, so that'll be the home point. So we're going to check it out here one more time. Oops. Arm the motors and 1 key to take off. All right, there we go. So now what we are going to do is test out the return to home. So I'm going to send it out right around there, not too far. I'm going to hit this return to home button. GPS lock. There we go. Hitting that return to home, and it rises up slightly and it starts to head on back. So just absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to miss the home point by a little bit. So carefree flying, whenever you think you want to bring it back home, look at that. I think it kind of readjusted itself a little bit. You saw it veering to the right a little bit. So it's holding its position, and slowly it's going to make its way down. Check it out. Just an absolutely fantastic quadcopter. You can never lose this thing, especially because it has that low voltage return to home. Okay, so we are going to semi-land on the landing pad somewhat. So that is really, really nice. Very close. All right, so let's go ahead and put it back right in the middle of the landing pad and do that one more time. Arm the motors, 1 key to take off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retake control while it's coming back from the return to home. So hitting that return to home, rising up in altitude, and it is making its way back. And at which time I'm going to hit that return to home button and check it out. I have stopped its return to home function and taken over the controls. So absolutely fantastic. I think this is just about one of the best quadcopters, even for a beginner. If you have the basic concept, but really you should practice on a very cheap quadcopter just to get your thumbs and hand and eye coordination down before you jump into one of these brushless quadcopters, because these things can really cut you up. So there you go, guys, the return to home function of the WiFi B2SE. And now what we are going to test out is the failsafe return to home. So let me push it out over there one more time, and I'm going to turn off the remote control, simulating the failsafe signal. So turned it off. It should take about 6 seconds to realize there's no communication, and there you go, rising up in altitude, and it will make its way back. Now it's going to come back and land itself on the takeoff spot, but looks like it's going to miss it by about that much. But look at that, it is slowly moseying to the right. That is just awesome. I guess that's why it hovers at that location before it starts to head down. It is re-centering itself to the takeoff spot. And here we go, coming down. And we should have about good 15 to 18 minutes of flight time. So we have more than enough flight time to test out all of the functions. And again, it missed the center of the landing pad. Wait a minute. It kind of bounced its way back towards the center a little bit. So that is just awesome how close it can come back and land where it took off from. So we're going to turn the remote control back on. That means we have reconnected. So now I'm going to arm the motors once again and take off manually and push it out. Look at that, brushless motors, man. Just booking its way over there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the remote control, simulating failsafe, and as soon as it starts to come back, I'm going to turn it back on and regain control of it. So right here, it's starting to make its way back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the transmitter back, and I'm going to hit the return to home button, and we are retaking control. And we are also in the first phase of low voltage return to home. So there's a 3 beeps that indicates the first phase of low voltage return to home. But we are within 300 meters and 100 meters in height so we are able to still fly about. Now if we were away 300 meter in distance and 100 meter in height, it will initiate a return to home by itself and come back and land itself. But while it's coming back and landing itself, you are able to still regain control of it by hitting the return to home button and still fly until finally it will hit the second phase of low voltage return to home, and that will be indicated by just one bar on the battery life indicator. And at this time it is indicated by 2 bars left in the battery life indicator, and the beeping sound will change from 3 beeps to single beep, a continuous single beep, a longer single beep. So we shall wait for that, and while we are waiting for that, let's go ahead and check out the sights. So as you can see, the camera is still slightly angling down, so you're not able to see that much of sky, unfortunately. So it would have been nice to have the camera angled straight on this quadcopter, and I think that is the only thing that I would change on this quadcopter, the camera angle. So when I pitch forward, look at that, I'm getting a lot of ground, which is, for me, it is undesirable. I'd rather see sky, so I know where I'm going, and I have to kind of stop and pull up in order to see the horizon, or even go backwards in order to see horizon. So I'm flying backwards. So you want to take in the sights, you got to kind of fly backwards. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I don't like about this quadcopter. Other than that, everything else is just a perfect quadcopter on this thing. It flies really nice. So I'm going to turn off the GPS, and I'm going to fly it without GPS. So I'm just flying with altitude hold, which is a lot smoother. And I like the silver gunmetal color on this quadcopter. It just shines in the sky, reflects the light really well. Just a beautiful day today. And the low voltage return to home phases 1 and 2, in between those 2 phases, you do have a pretty good amount of time to still fly about. Check this out. I've been flying ever since the first phase of low voltage return to home kicked in, and I'm still flying about. So you do have a pretty good amount of time to finish up what you were doing, but you have the luxury of knowing that soon enough it will come in. And I think that is a fantastic feature. Some people don't like that feature, that is beeping away, but I think that is a very welcome feature, because this thing can go the distance, and if you are flying around beyond the 300 meters, you know, that is absolutely fantastic. And check it out. There we go, low voltage return to home phase 2. So it should start making its way back, even though we don't have GPS lock position turned on. So there we go, it is booking its way back here. Really the quick like. It's not wasting any time. And check it out, it is coming right above the landing pad, and it's going to hover there for a little bit to make sure it is right above the landing pad, and slowly make its way down. And it is making its way down. Absolutely fantastic. Check it out, I got low battery warning on my phone. There we go. And I think it's going to come pretty close to the landing pad as well. Oh, it's going to land in the landing pad just about. And the motors shut off. Alright, so there you go guys, the WiFi B2SE, the 1 key to take off and land, the smart return to home, the fail-safe return to home, and now the 2 phases of the low voltage return to home. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we shall see you again next time.